Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Just a quick message. If you're standing at the back, I wonder if you could just move round to the sides a bit, because World Travel Market's so large, people will be arriving a little bit late, and so they're not turned away. If you left a space in the middle for them, then they can come and listen to us all. So if you can all sort of move round the sides a bit, that'd be wonderful. Thank you. Let me introduce myself. I'm Paul Richer, for those who haven't attended any of my sessions today. I run a management consultancy called Genesys, the Travel Technology Consultancy, and you can gather from that what we do is advise on technology in the travel industry. And I've organised this session that I've modestly called the Social Media Masterclass. In fact, we've got three great presenters who will be giving us some very interesting insights into different aspects of social media. Do keep moving around. For those who haven't attended my sessions before, if you want copies of the presentations, just leave your business card with one of the girls on the way out, and I'll drop you an email when the presentations are online. If you've already left your card, no need to do so again. I'll be giving you a link to a page with all the sessions, presentation from all the sessions I've done today. Let me introduce our speakers. Sitting nearest to me there, the only gentleman with glasses, he's Alan Young. He's Senior Vice President, Marketing and Partnerships at TrustYou. And the lady in the middle, young lady in the middle, is Debbie Hindle. She's Managing Director of fourbgb. I left a B out, sorry Debbie. And furthest away from me is Robb, who's Managing Director of Make It Social. And they're each going to give a presentation for 15 minutes, and then we're going to ask them some questions. So if any questions pop into your mind, then just keep them there, and at question time, pop your hand up, we'll run a microphone around to you, and we'll ask your question. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome my first speaker. Let's welcome Alan.
Am I on? Oh my goodness, I am on. My name is Alan Young, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Marketing for TrustYou. I'm based just north of Toronto. The company's headquartered in Munich, and that's about all I'll say from a sales capacity standpoint. Effectively, just a quick story. I bought a Jaguar about 4 or 5 years ago. I loved it. It was really old. But I brought it home one day, and my 9-year-old said to me, "Mom thinks your car is impractical." So I went, oh, I should probably get a different car. So I went out and got a Fiat 500, and there weren't very many of those in Canada. And when I got the Fiat 500, I thought I'd gone to the Uber side of practical. Gas efficiency, it's really cute, it's fun. But my 9-year-old kept growing and growing and growing, and as such, the car no longer fit him, so I had to get subsequently another car. The third car I got was a Buick Encore, brand new car. Buick has just released this car into the Americas, and so there's a very limited number of them. I had 600 kilometers on my car when it got struck, and struck rather violently by an oncoming person in their car. So lo and behold, I'm destroyed because my new car is broken. But I'm leaving on a trip to go to India, Dubai, and Munich, so it's not so bad. When I come back, my car will be ready. When I got back, my car was not ready. And I was thinking, this is ridiculous. How can they not fix this car within 3 or 4 weeks? So I got onto Twitter, and I started tweeting about the fact of how I've been let down by Buick. Their Encore doesn't have any parts because it's a new car, and it's just not working for them. After about 4 or 5 tweets and the odd Facebook posts, my phone rang because they have this thing called OnStar. And it was Buick Canada asking me, what can they do in order to fix my car quickly? So I said, I don't know, you tell me. At the end of the moment, they were calling the dealership. The dealership was ripping apart a brand new car that was sitting on their lot and putting all the parts into my car. And only did that occur when I started making some noise online. My phone calls didn't matter, all of that stuff. So from a social aspect, it's incredibly important for us to build those relationships moving forward. So from a travel perspective, where do travelers decide where they're going to go? It really depends upon their likes, their dislikes, pricing volumes, etc. A whole bunch of different reasons why they're going to go to different areas. And subsequently, there's different types of reviews associated with each one of those segments. So social media influences approximately 83% of online bookings today. So that's Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare, etc. It's kind of like an ecosystem unto itself. Related to online reviews, 49% of guests won't even consider booking a hotel that doesn't have any reviews online. So that in itself is a large number. I kind of go back to a brownie recipe. My mom used to make the most amazing brownies, and she'd give that recipe away, and it was never as good as when she did it. But at the end of the day, I trusted her brownies more than I trusted anybody else's brownies. Friends and family. We will not trust our friends and family, however, related to travel as much as we will trust other sources, which in itself is rather odd. Do I need to be doing this? There we go. So when I talk about the ecosystem, this is one physical hotel property within Chicago of the Trump change. And essentially, people are talking about this company in different manners. They're saying, it's a wonderful day, this place is amazing, I've stayed here several times, I'm going to highly recommend it. And what's interesting is on the Facebook page, this person is utilizing Trump to promote their own business, saying the fact that this is a wonderful hotel to hold weddings at, and by the way, I'm in charge of a company that organizes weddings. So the social dynamic is changing all over the place. Not only will it help drive traffic, but it also will help drive that tertiary business. So online reviews by the numbers, and these are all numbers that we gather as a company. There are currently 200 million plus reviews written across the internet, and that grows exponentially on a daily basis. 81% of all the reviews that we aggregate information from, 81% are positive, which is amazing when you think about it. From a social media standpoint, there's a gravitation towards focusing on the negative side of reviews, but if you really focus on the positive side from a granular perspective, you'll actually see more and more benefit from doing so, but 81% of those reviews are positive. This is 79% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations, and that's an increase of 10% from last year. 87% of users agree that TripAdvisor hotel reviews help them feel more confident in making their decisions. There are a plethora of review sites out there today. Almost any site can be a review site. TripAdvisor is obviously the biggest and the best, but from that standpoint, there is a way for people to get the message out from a regional perspective on smaller sites that still have a substantial amount of credibility to them. And this is, once again, distribution by our side of the equation. Booking.com has a large dominance in the UK market, followed by TripAdvisor, hotels, and others. And they're written across many, many different platforms. They're written in many different ways, in many different languages, but at the end of the day, this is how it parses out. And then online reviews, they influence the decisions. When you look at people who sometimes post an online review or post it occasionally versus regularly, there's an increase in the occasional posting, which is really interesting. The ones that do it regularly, the TripAdvisor fans, the folks that are really involved in the process of posting everything they can possibly do, I'm not sure if there's some kind of osis or narcosis or something with that, but people definitely get into it. But at the end of the day, the people that are posting occasionally, the 1, 2, 3 times a year, is becoming more and more predominant, which in itself just shows that the leisure traveler is making those decisions and also now posting those items online. So from the standpoint of reviews impacting booking decisions, you can see positive customer reviews, which is the one on the right-hand side, are more likely to use a local business. So this is how do customers' reviews influence on their decisions and select a local business. They tend to select it based upon factors such as location and price, what does the business offer, etc. But again, if they're reviewed highly, there is a propensity for them to focus on that. We see within I used to have 2 really nice arrows in here, but that didn't work. we see a 13-point improvement today in management responses. So the hotel industry is starting to get it. And what I'm saying is the fact that if you respond to more than just the 19% of bad reviews and respond to 30, 40, 50%, it has a direct correlation on how well you, as a hotel company or even a destination, how you're going to be perceived externally. So the more involved you are in the communication flow back and forth between the user-generated content and yourself, the more likely you are to see substantial increases in benefits and scores. Just to show you how people are starting to look at different reviews too, it's based upon experiential aspects of travel. So I'm traveling with my family. I don't want to stay at the Hilton in downtown Toronto. I want to stay at the Hilton out by Wonderland. So hotels are becoming very cognizant of the fact that they need to expose their information somewhat differently. If they're not, then we can aggregate that information from sentiment analysis, what people are talking about related to the properties that are staying where they're staying at. People might say it's a great family hotel, or the pool is wonderful for kids. Those are two fairly identical sentiments, but we can pull them in the same manner. So from our standpoint, there's just going to be a different move towards, at least we feel there's going to be a different move towards travel. We believe that it's going to be based upon aggregated review content. Not every single snippet of a review am I going to read. It's almost review overload these days, so we have to be able to visualize the data for somebody to make a very, very quick decision. It increases stickiness on websites, it increases conversion rates, and you can use this data as a hotelier to show people that here's what we do really well, and honestly, here's some of the things that we have a little bit of a challenge with, but the traveler knows when you're lying. They know it. And so at the end of the day, nothing is ever rosy. So by giving them pertinent data about your property is really, really important. And we can do this to a destination perspective as well. How is London versus Paris versus Madrid, and how are they all scoring from a social user-generated content standpoint? Here's another way of just a different representation. They have an ability to increase conversions. And as I said, the next phase. We took all of Dubai and said, I want to see how Dubai is faring related to the reviews and sentiment analysis. So we pulled all the information for every single hotel, and we can go ahead and show the Dubai Hotel Association, here's what's going on in your neck of the woods. So that social commentary is now becoming very data-oriented. And big data is at play, there's no doubt about it. So that's pretty well about it, and I think I'm exactly on time. But the one last thing I did wanted to say related to big data is don't forget that everything that we post as individuals at some point will get out to a person that will use it to manage their business more effectively. So, you know, as you look at different market segments, as you look at different areas in which you want to travel, really start looking at aggregated information. So don't focus on the bad stuff, focus on the good stuff, and make sure the fact that you're holistically looking at your entire landscape related to user-generated content from review sources. Okay? Thanks. You're up.
Thank you very much, Alan, for that insight. That's great. Let's welcome our next speaker. Let's welcome Debbie.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for coming out this afternoon to the Social Media Masterclass. I've decided that my subject today is going to be socializing your story. The social media industry and the way we work with social media it's still a new industry. We're still all trying to learn the latest technology and the latest innovation. And I'm seeing lots of businesses who just want to develop social media but don't know how to. They struggle to see where the platform fits within their business. So what I'd like to do is just take a quick look, put this into context. How have brands told their stories in the past? This is the traditional marketing funnel, the model that was designed for advertising in the 20th century, which starts with awareness, which creates interest, desire, and action. a very neat funnel where you push the information out for an audience to read or absorb. But this model is frankly irrelevant today because the world, in the way we've just heard, is interactive. And it needs updating for a digital social world. This is the slide on the left shows the traditional model, and the slide on the diagram on the right shows a model developed by a man called Xavier Blanc, who worked for a Finnish marketing agency way back when in 2006. And this model has now been adopted by brands like HP and Nokia. And instead of push technology, instead of pushing your advertising message out, it's about reaching, engaging, activating, and then nurturing your relationships with your customers, as you actually so beautifully described in the way you bought that car and had problems with your car. So what do we do as marketeers when we have a completely different funnel? And in fact, it's not a funnel, it's a circle. Because throughout that marketing funnel, people are now sharing throughout the whole sales process. People are showrooming, they're taking pictures of themselves while they're shopping. I was at a conference, I was moderating a conference on Sunday, and the head of e-commerce for Kioni said they now have Wi-Fi in their shops in John Lewis so that the customers can check TripAdvisor as they're talking to the consultant because they want the reassurance of the social search. So in order to work in this social funnel, we need to be creative. Social media cannot be boring. It needs to engage and capture our audiences in completely new ways. Why would people bother to listen to us otherwise if we're just pushing things out? And there is a term in marketing which is now called content marketing. And a Forbes columnist rather wistfully predicted for 2014, this will be the year that content marketing finally will be defined. The new marketing job of the future will be a content marketer. Now, content marketing isn't new, it's what PR has done for years. But what is new is in clever companies, it is now the first thing that people look at that then gets applied across all their integrated marketing platforms. Before we go into some good examples of good integrated content marketing, I'm going to show you some bad ones. At another event I was at, an advertising agency rather, again, wistfully said, having a social media strategy is not putting up a kitten on your Facebook page on Friday and saying, yay, happy Friday. So I just had to put a gratuitous picture of a kitten up just to emphasize the point. Content marketing is not doing something that alienates your customers. This is find the chicken nugget in the chips picture, which scarily has a large number of likes, but it also, as you can see from some of the comments, really annoyed people. There's one comment at the top that says, anyone who actually responds to this needs to have their Facebook account removed immediately. So you don't put content out, you don't have a conversation with people that's going to make people angry. And content needs to be appropriate as if you were actually talking to somebody. These are some examples of bad social media content. If you take the one from Gap, there's a tweet there saying, anyone impacted by Sandy, for Hurricane Sandy, stay safe, exclamation mark. We'll be doing some Gap shopping today. How about you? Now, just imagine that in the real world. You've been devastated by a hurricane. Someone walks up to you and says, stay safe, how are you? By the way, let's go and do some shopping today. It's inappropriate. You have to have social conversations in a social way. And if Gap wanted to say, stay safe, they should have said, anyone who's shopping today will donate blankets or will be a collection centre. Have the conversation appropriately. So that's how not to tell a social story. I'm now going to have a little experiment in audience participation, and I've not done this before, so if I overrun, I've already apologised to our fellow colleagues. I'm going to ask you two questions. Everybody in the room, I'm going to ask you two questions. And this was inspired by some brilliant bloggers I saw at the TBEX conference, which is a blogger conference in Ireland recently, and the bloggers are called Uncornered Market. Go and have a look at their blog if you can. It's very good. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions. But first of all, I need you all to shut your eyes. Everybody, I can see you. The lights aren't that bright. I can see if your eyes are shut or not. Everybody shut your eyes. Okay? Now I want you to think about your first travel memory. Keep your eyes shut. I'm watching you. Think about your first travel memory. How do you feel thinking about your first travel memory? Think about that emotion when you first were traveling wherever it was. Okay? Open your eyes. Tell the person next to you how you feel. What was that experience? Go on, tell people. Come on, tell people. Tell each other. It's brilliant, isn't it? Just remember how you felt on that first. Remember how brilliant it is to share that moment that means so much to you. Now, my second question. I want you to shut your eyes again. Promise you'll only do it twice. There's only 2 questions. I want to think that you are your own customers. Put yourself in their shoes. What do they feel when they're in your hotel, in your country? What do you think they feel when they walk through your door or step foot on your country or step out of the aeroplane? What's their emotion? What are they feeling? What do you want them to feel? Just think about it. Think about all those people, all of your customers, the people you're trying to talk to. What do you want them to feel? Okay. Open your eyes. Tell the person next to you what you want your customers to feel. Right, I'm going to pick on someone at random because I've got a roving mic. Hello, I'm going to pick on you. Tell me what your story was. Okay. Okay. The early memory was about traveling with family and excitement and safety. And what about your customers now? What do you want them to feel? You want them to feel safe and excited. Excellent. Okay, I'm coming. I'm being video, but they won't be able to follow me. Hello, I'm going to ask you. What do you want your customers to feel? Really happy. You want people to feel happy. Okay. Right. I want you to remember your emotion. I want you to remember your story, because that's your social media story. That's your campaign. Your campaign is about making people feel safe and excited. Yours is about making people feel really, really happy. So how do you turn that into a social media campaign? How do you make people feel happy in your platform? Create a content schedule that has this throughout all your conversations. So you're talking to generate that emotion in what people are hearing and thinking about you. That emotion becomes your content strategy. Now, if I have time, I think I do, I'm going to whip through some examples very quickly of some brands that have done this well. The first is Viator, which is, we do the PR for Viator. It's the world's leading retailer of attractions and pre-bookable attractions around the world, so you can skip the line in the Sistine Chapel. And their story is to be the travel-savvy friend you never had. So they have a central Facebook page, which does lots of useful, interesting things. But in order to be really savvy and really helpful, they have 200 things to do Facebook platforms. So you have things to do Milan, things to do Melbourne, things to do Paris, with the detail that you wish your best friend knew everything there was to do in Paris. So that's, for each city, that's 200 Facebook pages, 200 Twitter accounts. So they're living their brand by drilling down and giving the most incredible detail to anyone who wants to come and talk to them. And then they work very cleverly by engaging people and rewarding them in social media so that it's a best friend who tells you everything you need to know, and then they give you treats, they give you rewards, they talk to you like their best friend. My second example is Exodus, which is an adventure tour operator. And they have 450 adventure itineraries, 90 countries. People love traveling with Exodus. Instead of being in the desk, they're out there, they're having an adventure, they feel thrilled and liberated. So we created this campaign for them called Feel More Alive. We created a microsite, we asked people to upload and share pictures themselves, having a fabulous time. This is one of the pictures that was submitted. We now have more than 7,000 pictures of people that illustrate this incredible experience of being on an adventure holiday. We also worked with bloggers who went out and socialized the experience, delivered great traffic back to the Exodus websites. For another client, for St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the Caribbean, everybody knows the Caribbean's a fabulous place, but does everybody know that the Caribbean community themselves have a tradition of liming? When you kick back, you have a wonderful time. And for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we created this campaign called the Liming Appreciation Society with our own logos, our own campaigns, how to have a cocktail, to make a cocktail to really relax. We wanted people to feel that wonderful emotion when you sit on the beach and you feel so relaxed. And we also worked with bloggers who came out, who took imagery that the tourist board used, and we also created video and time-lapse photography, so a whole set of content that was created both offline and online that told everyone this was the place to go to relax. And that's an example of some of the statistics that were generated from the campaign in terms of social engagement across the piece. I'm doing well on my time. This is a video I want to show you from Melbourne. Now, Remote Control Tourist uses the Google Glass technology. Melbourne wants to be known as the quirky, entrepreneurial, the place where you have to go and really get under the skin of the city. It envelops in front of you. You find the latest bar. Melburnians love to tell each other where the latest place is. So this was done for the Australian domestic traveller. More people go to Melbourne than any other city in Australia. And people around Australia could just tell these remote control tourists where to travel. The whole thing was videoed. As you saw, there was one marriage proposal. The whole thing was quirky, fun. It entirely told Melbourne's story in a social way. So, I raced through at the end there, but I'm on time. I hope I've inspired you today to take that, think about your own story in social media and how you can communicate that, how you can socialize it to reach, engage, activate, and nurture your customers. And if people are interested in more detail, we're publishing a new report tomorrow on top international marketing trends for travel, including some social media trends and statistics from all over the world. So if people would like a copy, come and see me and I can give you a card, or you can give me yours and I'll send it to you. My story is to inspire and inform, and I hope I've done that today. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. And I've had a busy day, so I needed 40 wings. That was lovely, little eyes shut. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's welcome Eddie, who's our last speaker for the session. Thank you. And while he's on the way round, perhaps those people in the middle, can you just move to the side a little bit, let others in if they need to. If you're at the back and you can shuffle up a bit, that'd be fantastic. Just a little hand for Eddie.
Thank you. Okay, I'm Eddie Robb. I'm from Make It Social. Now, Make It Social is probably a bit new to the majority of you. We launched a year ago here at the World Travel Market. What we are is a social booking platform. We came out the back of my time at university. When I was at university, I had a constant frustration every year. I was the guy that was lumbered with the challenge of bringing everyone from uni up to Edinburgh for a rugby trip, a part of my rugby team. Being the only Scottish guy in an English university rugby team, it was on my shoulders to do the whole organising. So I was organised with the train, the tickets, the hotel in Edinburgh as well. Absolute nightmare. And that's really where the idea for Make It Social came from, because those guys still owe me quite a lot of money. So hopefully this will mean people aren't left out of pocket. So what I'm going to talk to you guys today about is what we do for companies as well. So whilst for users, we take away that hassle of organising a trip, for companies, we create a return on investment from social media. I'll tell you a little bit how. So social media, we're all striving for it. We're all working really hard on it. We're trying to get followers on Facebook, Pinterest followers, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google+. We're all working really hard to try and bring those guys in, get our likes and our numbers up. And then we're also trying to get the engagement going. We're trying to get some retweets, some likes, comments, +1s, whatever it may be. We want to get people sharing our stuff and engaging with us. And that's all fantastic stuff. And we want to get these real rave fans coming along. We want to get people buying whatever we bring into the shop and whatever we bring online. They'll part with their money for it because they're rave fans. And ultimately they'll tell all their friends all about us and go out and tell them why they should be using your company. So within the travel industry, there's a bit of research being done recently here that says social media is really most important with regards to building brand affinity and customer service, etc., and consumer awareness, where raising revenue is right down at the bottom there, which seems a bit strange to me with the amount of money we're pumping into it. So the benefits of social media, the main ones: brand affinity, customer awareness, feedback, and then customer service. But where really it is, I know a lot of companies can measure return on investment, but it's pretty hard to really put a pin on it and how exactly you measure that return on your investment. It's great for all the engagement pieces, that's fantastic, and you'll get people coming back to your company time and time again, but that point of spending all your money and getting a return on investment, where is it? In a way, it does feel a little bit like there's a little bit of a gamble going on. We'll just keep working on it, and hopefully some people will come to our website, and ultimately they'll spend some money with us. So we did a little bit of research into this ourselves. There's a company up in Edinburgh, where we're from as well, called As You Like It Festivals. Now they have a very young demographic. They're quite exciting products. They do music festival holidays. So it's an ideal one for really testing out social media engagement and turning into return on investment. So what we learned from these guys is they hired someone full-time to manage their sort of social media engagement. They had content creation, they had a really good blog, Twitter, Facebook management / engagement on an ongoing basis, and they paid that person £16,000. They spent a lot of money on advertisements on social media, well, £50 a day for a small company is quite a lot of money, and they did a little bit of money on stunts, so £2,000 put towards stunts. Now that totaled at £36,000 in a year put towards spending on social media alone. Now, they took a markup of around about £100 on each one on average, so that meant they needed to try and get 360 customers through social media alone. So the outcome of that year, they actually only got 300 sales. They're quite, as I said, a small company. But it's really hard still to understand whether any of that was directly attributable to social media. But they do now have 4,000 likes on Facebook, so that's one element to it, which we were quite happy with. But then we started looking into the social media side of it, the Facebook side. Don't know if you can quite see on that, but on the left there's a 4-day-old post that was seen by 238 people. This is a page that's now got 4,000 fans on it. And on the right there's a 4-day post that had some engagement, but it was still only seen by 867 people. So that's a 5 to 21% of your hard-earned likes are only seeing your post. So you spend a lot of money building that 4,000 likes, and only a few people are really seeing it. Facebook's official stats say that there's about, well, I say official, there's a few different stories out there, but there's around about 13% of your fan base will see your Facebook post. So they're stopping some of your fans from hearing from you. And you get some pretty sad guys because they don't hear your cool messages. But Facebook have also given us another option to spend more money with them, and we can boost our posts and get people to see more. So for £20 on that post, I could have got 3,000 to 6,000 more people to see what I was trying to tell them. So there's a lot of spending there, a lot of money going out, a lot of money going to Facebook or to any sort of social media, but it's really hard to find that return. Obviously, as I said, it's great for the engagement piece, building the brand recognition and the affiliation, but don't we want some money back from it? So please, I want some more. We want to know how we can get some sort of return from that investment, was what we thought when we were looking at all that, and how we can really turn it into some money. So what we did, we took a step back and we thought, well, what really are we missing here? Is it a case of not seeing the wood for the trees? You know, are we staring at it too much? We've been told we have to be using this social media thing, and we have to be spending a lot of time and money to engage with our customers. So we looked into that a little bit, and we decided to have a look at each social media and what their sort of mission statement was themselves. Sorry. So Facebook's is a social utility that connects with the people around you. Okay, and then LinkedIn, to connect the world professionals to enable them to be more productive and successful. Twitter, connecting for a purpose, not just connecting. Google+, share with the people you care about. And then Pinterest, a tool for collecting and organizing things you love. So it's really about, the majority of them there are about collecting your friends and pulling your friends together. So it's keeping in touch, socializing, and having your friends around you. That's really what Mark Zuckerberg did when he set up the Facebook back in the day. He pulled them all together in order to have somewhere to keep his friends around him, and in order to be social. There wasn't really any element of this trying to sell to people. That's obviously been a byproduct of it. But the question really is, how can we take advantage of all these pots of people that are dotted around? And this is where we really think we can start making a return on this peer-to-peer type thing. So it's, people are there to be social, so why are we trying to sell to them there at that point? If you're sitting in the pub there with your friends and some guy came over to you, you'd be like, excuse me, mate, we're having a pint. We don't really want to be sold to. So this is where it all came from with Make It Social. So instead, we thought, let's allow those customers to use social media to book your products with their friends when they want to on your website. So they've been browsing your website, they've found it. That's the point. They want to be able to pull in these friends. They don't want to be too much bothered by whilst it's whilst they're browsing Facebook, etc. So some stats to sort of back us up here. To back up this peer-to-peer and tell you how powerful the peer-to-peer introduction is. Forrester Research in 2012 came out with a stat that social peer-to-peer introduction is trusted at a rate of 72% compared to a company post, which is only trusted at 10%. So again, harnessing that peer-to-peer trust could be really, really valuable for a company, couldn't it? Google only quite recently did a travel study, so it's really specific to the travel industry. It's saying 71% of people consider a personal recommendation for a trip very important in the decision-making process. So again, that's a personal recommendation, ideally from a friend, in that sense. So again, how can we really take advantage of this? And it's all about these social bookings and trying to push people together and get them with their friends and to enjoy stuff. Everyone's tours and activities and hotels can be enjoyed by groups, I'm assuming. And that's really what we want. So from a social booking point of view, you get a larger yield, it's more cost effective for the operators. There's more engagement afterwards, so that social media piece afterwards, you're going to get a lot more from these guys, this bunch of guys here who are having a great time out with all their friends. They're going to be posting, they're going to be tweeting, they're going to be doing a lot after the event. There's going to be more brand affinity because they'll have had a great time. They'll be thinking, oh, that hotel was amazing, or that tour operator was fantastic. And then ultimately, they're going to have more fun, but also as a tour operator or hotel, you're going to have quite a lot more fun as well because you're going to have some good engagement with your customers. So the big question is how do you do it? How do you take advantage of this peer-to-peer introduction and the power of that 72% or the 71% of the Google research? So you provide a function for your browsers, so the browsers on your website, to book with their friends if that's how they felt. So you put something on your website to allow them to do that. I keep moving back. You harness the peer-to-peer at the point of sale, and when the customer is looking for something. So as I said, they're browsing along, and they've been looking for it at that point. It's not them sitting in the pub, they're not having a social time. They're looking to go shopping, or at least looking for something to inspire them. And where you as a hotelier or a tour operator, you're best positioned to actually sell to them. You've got all your tools around you on your website that will actually allow you to actually make the best sale to your customers on your site. So here's the final point. So by installing the Make It Social button on your website, you will be able to do exactly that. So we put our technology it's a little button, this little thing there. It says Book Socially. We go alongside your book button. So it's for those guys that are just browsing and they want to say, well, I'll share this with my friends. You click the Book Socially button, you can access your Facebook friends, your Twitter friends, your LinkedIn friends, your Google Plus friends, and you can send out a message to those guys and say, hey, this is what I found, what do you think? And they all come back to your website and they're in a group and they start getting social then and there. So that really, in a nutshell, is the power of peer-to-peer and how to make a return from that social media thing. Cheers, thanks. Social media thing.
Keep that on. Well, thank you, Eddie, for that. And 3 great presentations, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you've got some questions. A lot of you here.